What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you through the transfer plan to the upcoming Game Week 2. So the first transfer plan of this season is upon us, and if you guys don't know what these transfer plan videos are, it's where I go over how the current game week is going, as well as a quick look to the future and discussions of potential transfers I might make. Now this might be a little bit quicker than usual. As you guys will know, we've basically just made our Game Week 1 teams, so I don't really think many changes are going to be on the horizon. So in this video, I'll be discussing some more general kind of transfer plans, not just my own team, as there are a few talking points to actually go over. So if you guys are interested to see how Game Week 1 is progressing, and then my transfer plan for the upcoming Game Week 2, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. Now the first thing I just want to go over is you guys might notice there's a specific value that you guys aren't seeing on the screen right now, and that's going to be my overall rank. Now there's two reasons for this. The first one is we actually still have a game coming up tonight that's Spurs taking on Leicester, so the overall rank hasn't been finalized yet. Then the second more important reason is the fact that overall rank does not matter, especially in Game Week 1, but basically till Game Week 10, so I'll probably only show my rank in the Game Week 10 transfer plan. Now don't worry, the game week didn't go that badly that I'm hiding my rank. It's just the ranks are so volatile over the opening few game weeks that it's really pretty useless to go over them. So around Game Week 10 is probably the first game week that I would say that you guys can take it a bit more seriously, but Game Week 38 is the only rank that counts, but it's always nice to have a better overall rank on your FPL page. So talking about Game Week 1, as you guys can see, the overall points currently are 58, and we have one player, Pedro Porro, still to feature. So if you guys have a Dom Solanke yet to come, I think you're probably looking pretty strong, as I'm expecting quite a few goals against that Leicester team. So all I hope for is that Pedro Porro gets a clean sheet, a few attacking returns. I don't think that's too much to ask for. Now comment down below, how did your game week actually go? Was it a strong week? Was it a bad week? I've seen some pretty high scores as well as some pretty low ones, and I think 58 is probably pretty average. But as mentioned, don't worry, don't stress if you guys have had a bad week. That same exact team might have an absolute banger in Game Week 2. Now let's go over the rest of my team, and I'll be going over this in the kind of more traditional way, starting on the bench and going to the forwards. Now in terms of my bench, not many points were scored in Game Week 1, and as you guys can see, it's very cheap, almost the minimum. So Bentley was our backup goalkeeper because there was potential rumours that Jose Sa might leave Wolves, but that hasn't happened as of now. Then Harwood Bellis ended the week on 1 point after conceding to 10-man Newcastle, and he also racked up a yellow card for good measure. Then finally Ben Johnson didn't start the Ipswich game but came off in the second half, and then proceeded to concede 2 goals to Liverpool. Now if you guys are worried about Johnson's kind of starting place, his replacement who he came on for picked up a hamstring injury. So it should actually be okay for the upcoming game weeks, and I do hope that he does feature, as it's always good to have some bench coverage. Then Winks, our 4.5, still has to feature tonight against Spurs, but he won't have to come off the bench. Now as I go through my starting 11, I'll go over the players that I finalized, as there were a few variations from my final team video. Once again, thanks to all of you guys who showed the support on the deadline stream, and welcome to all the new legend members. Now unfortunately, our goalkeeper Henderson wasn't a legend in Game Week 1, as he ended up conceding twice to Brentford. Now picked up a save point, and that took him to 2 overall points, but a pretty disappointing game week. Now in terms of other goalkeepers, there were a few but not in the budget department that kept clean sheets. Definitely was the week of the premiums. Now in terms of expectations, currently Gay is still at the club. I just hope that Crystal Palace shore up a little bit defensively and get a few clean sheets. Now at least our defenders did redeem our defensive department. The first player, Trent, came in at 7 mil but outperformed that by getting 8 points, a clean sheet plus 2 bonus. Now there was literally a point in the game, I don't know if you guys watched the Liverpool game, but Trent whipped in a cross and Jota narrowly missed it. That would have literally been perfection for my team. But still, at his price point, had great attacking threat, and Liverpool actually looked more controlled for the clean sheet. So I know it was Ipswich, you probably expect him to keep a clean sheet, but the signs are definitely there for a massive season. Now first change of our final team was actually Gabriel coming in for Guardiola, but both players scored the exact same points. Now if you had to ask me, do I regret this? I think slightly. Because Man City kept a clean sheet against Chelsea, I think over the short term Guardiola outperforms Gabriel. Now the only thing that will redeem this is if Guardiola gets benched, or maybe Gabriel ends up scoring a goal. But it was quite close. I just went for Gabriel because he was more nailed, then someone like a Guardiola. But I guess we'll see over the upcoming weeks. Now, as expected, Arsenal had a massive chance of keeping the clean sheet, so at least they did their job right. So a little bit of pressure on Pedro Porro at the moment. It'll make a full house in our back three. Just the pity Henderson only got 2 points. Now, midfield department was also a little bit hit or miss, starting off with our star boy Bukayo Saka. He ended up on 12 points. So big debates this week of going for Mo Salah or not. As mentioned, the reason I didn't go for Salah was I didn't want to captain him, so Saka almost matching him at a cheaper price almost reassured that decision. I mentioned this, but if you did kind of combine Trent and Saka versus Salah and a 4.5, Trent and Saka definitely look better at the moment. But the biggest thing about that debate was captaincy, so if you guys did have Salah, I hope you captained him, as then you'd be having a great game week. But otherwise, in terms of Saka overall, easier fixture, expected some returns, and he's got his first double-digit return of the season. Now, big controversy about our next option, Eze. If you guys haven't seen the news, he actually scored on a free kick, but the ref said he already blew the whistle, and then on the retake he missed. So those 2 points could have been a whole lot sweeter. It would have put Crystal Palace in the lead, but then they conceded a few minutes later, so we went from a bunch of points to basically none. Other than that kind of controversial free kick, Eze did have a few chances, and Dayvy looks good for his price tag. More importantly, no confirmed news as of now. The release clause has expired, so it does seem like Eze is going to remain at the club. But speaking about kind of remaining at the club, we're going to go to a club that offers the opposite. It's going to be Chelsea with Nkunku. So if you guys haven't seen, they are signing literally every single player. There were a few players left out of the lineup though. Nkunku started but came off before 60 minutes. Don't really understand why he was subbed. It seemed like when he was subbed off, Enzo became the 10, and I don't consider him to be an attacking midfielder. So very kind of worrying signs at the moment with Nkunku, and probably the highest player on the chopping block at the moment. Now there isn't really much concern though. It was against Man City. I wasn't expecting much out of this fixture. Now I mentioned this over on Twitter though, but big kind of news about Chelsea is they are playing on Thursday night. So let's see if Nkunku can start their game and look a little bit better. But as mentioned, all eyes will be on the Chelsea midfielder, as those good fixtures don't even matter if he's not going to play. Then finally, Diego Jota actually got 8 points after his narrow miss from that Trent assist. He went and scored a Salah one. Now going back to the kind of Salah debate, Jota actually had better kind of points per million. It was very close though, and that's why you should have captained Salah. But very happy with the performance of Jota. He was subbed a little bit later on, but Darwin Núñez got no minutes, who would be his natural replacement. So all Jota had to do was score, because I do believe that's going to make him more nailed. Let's hope he continues this trend over the upcoming weeks. But you guys can kind of see Jota and Saka carrying our midfield department. Let's see if Eze and Nkunku can better it next week. Now front line, starting off with the ever reliable Erling Haaland, 7 points, 1 goal against Chelsea, and just narrowly scraped the bonus point. So pretty kind of expected performance from Man City versus Chelsea, but once again, they look like a quality team. Now if you guys have been following the ownerships, you'll know that Erling Haaland's ownership is pretty low, so let's see what happens in game week 2 when I'm going to captain him. But it's very kind of consistent. Man City look to be in a good attacking moment, and that's something that you just love to see. Something that you don't love to see is going to be Shaw's red card for Newcastle that almost wiped out the possibility of points for our captain. So yes, Isaac with his 5 points doubled to 10, at least he got 1 assist, but when Shaw got that red card in the first half, all my hopes went down. So super annoying, because I mean without that red card maybe Isaac scores more points, and that's something that we didn't really prepare for with our possibilities. Now as mentioned, at least he got 1 assist, which took him closer to Erling Haaland, as a blank would have been brutal with the amount of points Salah got. So I guess the decision was going to be right. They still ended up performing, but would have liked a better start from our captain. Now final striker and player as a whole is going to be Núñez from Fulham, and he had a tougher game against United. Now he did have a few chances, but not really a clear-cut one, and therefore ended up blanking with only the 2 points. Now what made this even more annoying was his potential replacement Chris Wood. I was deciding between the two of them in this position. He ended up having 1 shot and 1 goal. So your classic kind of striker smash and grab, and also ended up on maximum bonus points because he didn't have any shots off target. So quite disappointing, but I did get Núñez for the future fixtures, so let's see how he performs in those. But as you guys can see, 58 points total, with Pedro Porro still to come, unless the bonus points do change. So if you guys haven't seen, it's a new rule that the bonus points can change up until the last game, so hopefully no surprises come tonight. But once again, let me know how your game week went. Was it a strong week? Was it a bad week? Don't worry though, whatever kind of happened, it's only game week 1. But let's see how my team sets up for game week 2. Now if you guys haven't watched one of my previous transfer plans, what I do now is I go over my actual team selection, as it gives you context about what I'm dealing with the players in my starting 11. Now I won't be going through player by player, I'll be going by positions, as in the team selection late in the week, we can take a deeper dive. So just remember, 1 free transfer but 0.0 in the bank, so a downgrade or a straight swap has to happen. Now bench this week kind of picks itself. This is going to be the same bench probably for most weeks. It's Bentley, Winks, Harwood, Bellis and Johnson. Now I'm not considering any of these options to be honest, it's all about the starting 11. Now my goalkeeper Henderson has West Ham at home. This is a fixture I think will be actually quite tough, as West Ham have made some quality signings. So let's see what happens with that defensive department. Will Gay actually leave the club? I'm just hoping for some Henderson save points and a clean sheet. Now backline also has some pretty good games. Home fixtures for Porro against Everton at home. That should be a strong chance of a clean sheet. Everton aren't that great going forward. And then Trent has Brentford with Mbumo potentially up front. Ivan Toney seems like he might be leaving the club with a potential transfer, but let's see how that Liverpool defense deals with a better attack. Then finally Gabriel in the middle against Aston Villa. I'm hoping for a clean sheet here as Guardiola does have Ipswich, so Arsenal definitely have the tougher game. Now midfield department, Saka also has Aston Villa. Defensively not that secure, so you could get some points. And then it's a similar story with Eze with West Ham at home. So let's just hope this week when he does score a free kick, it's not ruled out, as I don't really know what I'll do if that happens again. Then Nkunku against Wolves, as mentioned, they do play on Thursday night though, so it'll probably give us an indication of how many minutes he's going to play in game week 2. Now we saw Arsenal score against Wolves, I believe the same could happen against Chelsea, so fingers crossed Nkunku's involved. Then finally Jota against Brentford, don't really think they're the strongest defense, and at Anfield there should be a few goals. Now front line of Erling Haaland against Ipswich, definitely our captain, might be a debate about the triple captaincy, but I'll probably keep it vanilla for now. But what more needs to be said, he scored on the weekend against Chelsea, a home fixture against Ipswich. This armband's going nowhere, unless he does get injured of course. Then we have Isaac against Bournemouth, hopefully he can do a Chris Wood and score against them. Let's see if Newcastle play with 11 men this time. And then finally Muniz, we spoke about these fixtures, Leicester and Ipswich back to back. Surely he scores in game week 2 and 3. But no complaints about this front line, the defense in the midfield, not the most optimal fixtures but still pretty strong. And therefore the main conclusion about my transfer plan is I'm probably going to roll the transfer. I think if you guys have Nkunku, it's probably wait and see for me. We can discuss in the deadline stream after that Thursday night fixture if we will take him out, but at the moment I think it's a roll. I would say that you guys should probably roll the transfer if you can, even if you own someone like a Kwanzaa or a Barco. It's an extra week of information and those players might come back into the starting 11. Now I'll be discussing potential replacements in the ultimate guide coming up shortly if you guys do want to move them out, but as I recommended, try and save the transfer. But good luck tonight if you guys do own a Dom Solanke or Pedro Porro. Let me know what your current score is looking like and was it a good or a bad week. Tons of more content coming up after tonight's fixture. This is basically a wrap for the video guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you have subscribed yet. Thanks once again to all the new legend members. You guys should see your name on the screen right now. But for the time being, I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers, bye.